Hello, everybody. How we doing? Welcome, guys. I almost missed the stop button. Hello, Manu. Nice to meet you. Welcome. How's your week, guys? What's been happening? Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a few more people to join. Absolutely, Manu. Hey, Lonnie. Good to see you again. Hi guys, I just discovered a new feature on Insight Timer where I can like post some of my stuff. I was like, I had no idea that existed. Hey Raven. Cold and rainy on this end. I'm from LA, so it's always sunny, but we're gonna get a rain this week, which I'm actually excited about it. But if you always get rain and stuff, I can imagine that can get a little bit like whatever, you know. Awesome, guys. Welcome. I see some familiar faces. How we're doing, guys? So I hope you're all having a good week thus far. So welcome for everybody who's new. So hello, my name is Jacqueline, by the way. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on how it works as people are joining in, trickling in. So I'm going to start off always, hey Jamie, I'm going to start off always with a group reading first, okay, so that everybody gets something. And then of course it's not expected, but if anybody gives a donation, essentially they lock their position in and they get a little bit of a longer reading. If nobody gives a donation, no problem, I will still take questions after the group reading. So just so you guys know, that's how it works. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. All right, so I've been trying to upload this video all day, by the way. It's been driving me nuts. So I'm just going to leave it there. You stay there. You do your thing. Okay, so let's begin with the group reading, guys. So let's just see what collectively the energy is. And just a reminder, guys, if somebody else is getting a one-on-one reading, oftentimes you will find it synchronistic. There's a lot of like links between you, like some kind of message, something comes through always. So exciting. And I will hopefully be entertaining, as I like to think I always am. Weird things come out of my mouth as I do reading, so we'll find out. All right, guys, so let's get into the group reading. I see familiar faces, guys, so good to see you. Okay, so just inviting your energy. If there's anything that you need to hear, this is for the collective, this is for everyone. Okay, so let's see what wants to come out for everybody today. Ooh, these ones are active. And apart from that, I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, Reedy. Good to see you. Yes, my love, absolutely. I'm just doing the group reading right now, and then I will take questions after it. So I had a very interesting week. I always have interesting weeks. I got very triggered. I had a little bit of a trigger. Thank you. And by a little bit, I mean an epic trigger. I don't know if I told you guys this last week, but I ended up cleaning my entire house because I was so angry. So when anybody says that anger is like useless or whatever, it's not true, because anger is a huge motivator and it helps you get stuff done. Yeah, I know. I still have to do my closet, one of my closets, but yeah. So I was so angry and I got so much done, and I was like, maybe I need to get angry more often. So it was cool. But by the way, I'm just checking in with the energy, so give me 1 second. Oh yeah, I can totally relate to this card. All right. Okay. Interesting. Good. So the first card that we got, guys, is 8 of Water. Okay. Can totally relate to this right now. So a desire to move on, to reach for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling, aside from the anger thing last week, lately, I've been feeling actually kind of empty. Like I'm doing a lot of things, but I don't feel like I'm moving forward. I don't feel personally like I'm achieving things, even though I'm constantly doing things. So maybe a little bit of stagnation or like empty, I think it's just the best word for it. It's like no matter what I do, I just kind of feel empty right now. Hey, CG. Void is a great word. Love that, Reedy. You know, so there's just like this emptiness, right? So a desire to move on. So I've been feeling this desire that I want stuff to start moving in a different direction. I need some kind of a change. I'm looking for something to make sense for me, actually, to be quite honest. Maybe because things are slowing down or whatever, but not quite sure. So the energy, essentially what is coming up is that possibly all of you guys might be feeling something very similar. It doesn't have to be in career necessarily. It could be in relationships. It could be in your health. It could be, yeah, CG, she's like, oh yeah, I resonate, you know. So sometimes like we put all this work in and then like we're like, yeah, but even when I'm doing it, I don't even feel good about it anymore. So I feel like it's just like a bit of a waiting period or a resetting period or an intention setting period. I just redid my goals for the year because I pretty much finished all my goals. So I'm trying to do little things here and there, but again, there's just feeling of emptiness, not really feeling like I'm going anywhere or I have any clarity on it. But that's not always a bad thing, guys, okay? So I understand that intellectually, but still how we feel is a different thing. The next, it's the Queen of Fire. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. So I feel like what I'm getting here for this, it actually is making a lot of sense now. I think I just need to hear this as much as anybody else out here. When we're feeling empty, when we feel like nothing's happening, there's two different types of people. Like some people who go into depression and do nothing about it. And then there's a type like me who just basically like shake my whole world up and just decide to do something outside of the box to make things happen. But it can again be this big motivator, right? It's like empty canvas right now. And so what else can I create? How else can I approach this situation? So it actually expands for the possibility for something really, really new. And like anything, like this is a dualistic world, right, guys? So we don't know what pain is until we discover love and vice versa. So I feel like what I'm hearing here is that this void is necessary for a lot of us really to become full again. So it's almost like you need to feel that emptiness, because then when you get that fullness, you also very much appreciate it, right? And again, it doesn't have to be empty. Maybe it's a different word for you. But there's just something that needs to be filled up or shifted or replaced. Absolutely got to fill your own cup, really, for sure. I mean, I feel like expecting, and that's part of the problem, right? So sometimes when we feel empty, we want somebody to save us. We want something to happen from the outside. We want some kind of a miracle to happen. And I fall into that too. You know, of course, it's so much easier to want that like miracle to happen from the outside, but oftentimes that miracle, we have to remember, starts from within, which is why I'm always like trying to do things, and from there I'm hoping that will ripple outside, and then something will show up on the outside. But it doesn't happen on the outside because you've done nothing. It's often because you've done the work on the inside, and then it starts manifesting on the outside. So for those of you who tend to give up, this is just a reminder that this is very, very important. So take this time. I even had like a download for me to spend an entire day in meditation, which I've never done before, but I've been getting this download. Essentially, it's like you got to go into the emptiness fully. So I feel like one of these days I'm going to do that. I'm just going to spend the entire day just meditating and doing spiritual work all day, because I've been getting that calling for some reason. So sometimes it's just asking us to dig deeper into something, and not to be distracted by the little things. So again, this is something that you got to figure out for yourself. And then the final card, though it's a good thing, is that we got the Sun. Okay, so happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that leads to success. Have confidence in yourself. So twice we heard have confidence in yourself. So again, just because we don't see anything happening doesn't mean nothing is happening. We got to remember this as well, because there's always energies and things happening behind the scenes that we often don't see, but later on maybe they show up, or the work that you put in now, later on it pays off. But again, if you don't do anything at all, then nothing is guaranteed for sure. So just a little reminder that yes, it's okay to go through this emptiness. And I've been watching a lot of videos on business stuff, and when somebody said, you know, if we let our feelings get in the way, like I don't feel like doing this, or I feel empty while I do this, then if it stops you from taking action, then you're going to take a big step back. So this is one of those times is like, okay, I feel this way, I acknowledge it, but I'm still going to move through it, because obviously that's the right thing. Logically, that's where I'm going to move forward. That's when I'm still going to feel better than doing nothing at all. So, hey, welcome Evie. Hey, Tim. Oh, I love that, Tim. Just because the sky is invisible in the sky doesn't mean it's not there. That's amazing. I love that one. Perfectly said. And also remembering with the law of attraction, guys. So it's like there is always that period where the world has to catch up to what you're doing, and we get discouraged because we're not seeing the results, you know. And so sometimes things might take a little bit of time, and so essentially what I'm hearing again is patience. Keep having confidence, keep moving forward, and just don't allow your feelings to stop you from doing things. That is essentially the message that I'm hearing. Anything else? No. All right, so let's take question, guys. So what's been going on? By the way, I've got a new course coming out soon on Insight Timer. This one's Quantum Leaping to Wealth. So it's an actual one to help you manifest money. So she's talking about the cats. They're so cute. I love cats too, by the way. So just keep an eye out for that, by the way, guys. All right. So who has a question, guys? Let's go. Let me just disconnect from everybody. Okay, so Raven, I would love one general guidance reading for 2026, please. Okay, and then, so we got Raven. I'm just going to write down the names. I know Reedy. And there was somebody else who wanted one, so just Trish. Can anybody else put your name down? Oh, gosh. Debbie. If I miss your name, by the way, guys, just let me know. Okay, one sec. Aaron. Adia. Oh, sorry. That's how I hear the name. Manu. Christina. I have to write them down, guys, because I will forget. Susie. So the longer, of course, the further down you are, just so you know, it will take me a minute. And Yamaya. Okay. Okay, so Raven, you said you wanted something general for the year, for the next year, right? 2026, I think you said. Okay, so let's see what comes up. I don't know why I saw witchy stuff. Ooh, that was hot. Let me just double check that. My cards want to come out. Okay, so let's see what comes up. 2026. Nice. All right, so I'm just going to take 2 cards each, guys, just because there's so many people and I don't want to go too long. If I miss anyone, hey Nikisha, good to see you, girl. Okay, interesting. Okay, so you got incarnated dragons and then cherubs. Okay, so this is very interesting. So I don't know, Raven, if you're in a relationship, but you definitely got love in 2026. This could be the love of a new project, the new relationship, amplifying an already a relationship. It's usually to do with romance, but it also has to do with abundance, this card. So you're gonna have to suss that one out for yourself. But we got the dragons. The dragons are keepers of treasures and secrets, holding the deepest knowledge of the world. A great treasure lies within you, wanting to be discovered. It's time to step into your power fearlessly and unapologetically. Embody the energy of the dragon and you will realize that you are capable of accomplishing anything. So what I'm hearing here, Raven, essentially is like it's time to really step into your power in 2026. It's going to be a good year for you to step into that, whether it is also like, I feel like possibly maybe a business idea or some kind of project that you might be pursuing. Again, with the abundance card there as well, I think that there might be a link there. So the dragon energy is very unapologetic. So incarnated dragons are, for instance, like Donald Trump is a dragon. A lot of people don't like me saying that, but that's the fact. They can come across a little bit very egotistical. They're very much around power. But again, power is a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you use it. It's a tool. But what I'm hearing here is that for you, 2026 is very much a year of discovering what that power is for you, and not to be afraid sometimes to come across a little bit arrogant. I heard this the other day, which I thought was brilliant. It's like somebody, if they say that they're full of yourself, then say to them, would you rather me be empty? So we have this fear of essentially like, oh, I don't want to be judged for being up myself. I was told to be humble. And listen, all those things are true and they're valid, okay? But not at the cost of you losing something. And of course, I mean, like, it's true as in, like, as long as you don't hurt other people, there's nothing wrong with being full of yourself. If that's, you know, what you want to go after. But obviously the most confident people, the people who are full of themselves, tend to be very successful because they don't really care about what other people think. And oftentimes we allow other people's opinions to stop us from going forward, to achieving, to becoming something. Look at the Kardashians. You know, I mean, I'm giving you an example of like very materialistic or whatever, but you see there's a judgment coming out here. I don't know them personally. They might be the loveliest people on the planet. But because we see this glamour and this glitz, we judge them. And they get judged all the time. But do you think that they care? They get paid. They're doing something right. So again, you know, I feel like the point of this anyway is that you need to start moving also into your power. What does that mean? It's like confronting those parts of you that are afraid of being judged, confronting those parts of you where people might say, well, that's wrong to think that way, or that's not the right way to go. And you just got to go, well, this feels right to me and I'm just going to move forward, because if this is what you want, falling in love with a project or finances or whatever it is that you're pursuing, this love that you're seeking or trying to achieve, even in a relationship, by the way, that's the same thing. You have to embody it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence. I mean, a lot of people who are dragons, you know, they're delusional, like in the sense of they're like, I don't know, it could be the ugliest person on the planet and they'll still get the supermodel, you know, because they have that confidence. Probably maybe they have the status, but they use what they have to get there. Again, when we say use, we're not saying abuse. There's a big difference between abuse and use, okay? But somebody who's, again, humbleness is a beautiful thing. I really admire people who are very humble and have all that sort of stuff, but you can be humble and confident and still have that strength behind you. So essentially 2026 is a year for you to discover your power and to embody your power. That's it. Yeah. Excuse me. All right, Riddy, what's your question? And we're doing fast one, guys, because there's a lot of people, so I'm just going to get to the nut of it. Yeah, but I hope my power is to be able to help others. And that's what power does. That's an example of why power is it's a useful tool. Power can destroy people and power can transform people. It's up to you how you use it, right? Time to know, cannot wait. Thank you. You're so welcome. I love guidance on my jewelry business, please, and career in terms of working on my personal brand where I myself express myself on social media and become an expansion of the brand, my expression, and me as a person. Okay, Reedy. I do feel like you ask me this question every time though, Reedy, and I don't know if my answer is going to be very different each time, unless of course you've done some work, and we'll see. Anyway, we'll see what comes up, because sometimes it can change. I feel like these cards want to come up. So let's see what they want to say. Okay. So being unable, unwilling to make a decision, a statement, pretending there is no problem. Okay. So I feel like this is a bit of an avoidance card, Reedy. So what I'm hearing here essentially is like you got to really look at the mental blocks that you have around it. And sometimes when we're very overly confident, and I feel like you have a lot of confidence, right? Which is a great thing. But again, it's that delusional state sometimes that we get into that sometimes can also take us far away from our path and from our authenticity. So we have to be very careful with that. So the delusional is a great thing as long as it serves you, but then it can also go against you if you're not careful on how you use it. For instance, there's problems, there's a fire, and you're like, oh no, that's fine, it'll turn itself off, whatever. Like, that's the kind of thing that we have to be careful of, because we're so like, no, I was told that I have to be positive and I have to think things this way. Like, that's not my reality. So it's a tricky thing sometimes to navigate. So what I'm hearing here with you is that you got to start looking at your blocks, because I think you're very positive and you're very confident in the direction that you want to go into. But I think you have a hard time sometimes looking at the things that are in the way, such as maybe there's insecurities behind there. Maybe there is fear of something. So when we can clear those things out, everything else has a lot more power, and then you can redirect your intention or focus towards the things that you want to make it grow. But if we're not looking at the things that are anchoring us and slowing down the process, it can literally slow down the process of manifestation. However, aside from that, you do have some really good messages here. The power of creativity, recognition for a very high quality work. Be a team player. So I do see transformation for you, Reedy. And again, this is probably what is required for that transformation, for you to get to the next level, to the next step. But I do see transformation, the power of creativity. So you're very creative. You've got this something special about you, right? And recognition of high quality work. Okay, so your work is high quality. You want to serve the best, right? You want to give the best to your clients. You want your work to be admired and be something that people want. Okay. So there is essentially like some level of upgrading necessary. And again, teamwork. I think I got this card with you before, something about teamwork. I think you have a hard time maybe working with people, finding the right people. There's always a bit of issues there. And again, this is going back around the blocks. So you want to elevate, you got to look at the things that are anchoring you right now. You are moving up, but again, you're not moving at the speed that you want. You're not getting where you want to go. It's because there are things in the way that you're not looking at, or that you're not addressing. Maybe that's possible, but I do remember that you had some sort of like block around working with people or something. So that's something just to look into, all right? Or delegating, there you go. And then falling in love, or the resources of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhancement, and enhanced intuition, a new home. So I do see that like a new person is possibly coming in, a new business relationship is coming in, a new opportunity is coming in for you, really. So there are doors that are opening up. But again, you don't want to sabotage them, or you don't want to attract the wrong thing unless you deal with this stuff back here, okay? So when you deal with that, you clear out the way, and then you attract the right people, places, and things that essentially make things flow a lot easier. Easier said than done, we know that. But just look at the shadow stuff. Look at the things that, maybe the things that you really don't want to admit. The harder it is, usually the more on track you are. But it's looking good. I see movement forward. I see growth. I see business growth. And like it said, you want to get to that quality, then you've got to step up as well. All right, Trish is next. Good job, by the way, Reedy. Oh, you're welcome. Aw, thank you, girl. I appreciate it. Trish, I'm wondering if you're typing. I'm trying to get through everybody because this is a long list. Hi, wondering what Sackback is about these past few weeks. So you've had setbacks this past few weeks. Okay. My cards are wanting to come out today. Okay. I've got an itchy nose. What's happening? What are you doing, piggies? Oh, they're sleeping. It's happening. Okay. So Trish, you got the snake people, okay? And then you got the star fairies. So it's a very interesting energy that you got. This is very chromatic. So the snake people invite you to connect with your ancestors and your family lineage. Whatever situation you are facing, now it's time to heal and break the cycle. Within you lies ancient wisdom. Just as you inherit the lessons and traumas of your family, you also carry their gifts. Embrace this power, for it holds the key to transformation and freedom. So whenever the snake people come up, usually this does mean cyclical patterns. Yeah, I do have guinea pigs. I have 2 little boys, and about 40 rats. Not rats, like hamsters and rats and mice. So there is something that's come up, and I feel like, again, this stuckness that I've been talking about, for me it's been a void. Maybe for you it's been this stuckness or whatever that's been coming up, or a setback, if that's the way you called it. When this comes up, often it's because something is trying to get your attention. It's something that needs you to basically literally step out of your comfort zone fully in order to be able to change perspective and change the cycle. So setbacks often are very frustrating, and they can feel like, are you kidding me, man? Like that kind of energy. But it's like I feel like it's to do with shadow work, and it's also something to do with your energetic blueprint, like part of your lesson in this lifetime. So it's coming up because it wants you to reflect upon it. And like this card, I love this card because what it says as well, we've got to pay attention, right? It's like, just as the same way that we inherit the lessons from our family, we also inherit the gifts. So this is like what I'm hearing right now for you, Trish, is like starting to look into, it's like, how can I use my ancestors? Sorry, my eyes itchy now. My ancestors, my angels, my spiritual team to draw in those gifts, those that help me break free from these patterns, from these cycles. The star fairies, I'm going to read this one. Encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and embrace new experiences, especially those that challenge you. Growth happens when you dare to explore the unknown. Trust that the universe is guiding you towards expansion. This is your time to discover the new world and unlock true potential. So it's weird because it kind of feels like I'm being punished and things are just going against me, but it's kind of like they're trying to push you in a different direction, essentially. Like, it's not that they're trying to punish you. It's like, you need to fix this thing and you need to go down this route because this is the way that you've always used to be doing things. This is the way that you're always used to seeing things, but this is not going to lead you towards where you really want to go. So we have to push you in the other direction. And this is going to show up as obstacles, as setbacks, as things that are getting in the way, things not working out. Because eventually at some point when you're put into a corner, you have no other option but to either fight back or try something different. And so I feel like that's kind of what's happening energetically with you right now. And again, to look at the skills and tools that you have that I don't think you've actually explored yet. There's like parts of you that like are dormant, I think is the best way to put it. And so when they push you to the extreme, that's when you start going, fuck it, I'm just going to try this and see what happens. So it's kind of like that kind of energy, is like, just step out of your comfort zone, try different things. Don't get discouraged by it. Again, this is like the group reading that I felt, and I'm even telling myself, don't get discouraged when things are not happening or things are setting you back. It's just redirection, it's resetting, it's reprogramming. So that's where you're at. So see it for what it is. And again, I'm feeling the same thing as the group reading. Try not to get emotional about it. Try to see it for what it is and use what you can with what you have to fight back or try something different. Yeah. Okay. So that's essentially what came up. You're welcome. Debbie. Oh, thank you, Trish. I appreciate that, my love. Adia, you're 2 down. Relationship and friendship. Okay. I have you. Maureen, absolutely. If you're feeling that there's a connection, oftentimes when I'm giving a reading to somebody else, that's what I mean, the synchronistic readings. It's not a coincidence that you're here. That is definitely something that you needed to hear as well. So if it resonated with you, trust that. Sorry, I'm just connecting to you, Debbie. This is a lot of energies today. And I've been having a headache for like 2 days, which I normally don't get. So it's like that little in the background. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Sorry, I'm entertaining myself now. This is where I get crazy. Ooh, okay. Chillax, man. No, I don't rest, Nikisha. It's not, there's no such thing as resting in my world. I do things. Yeah, my husband's joke is like, my days off, it's like when I like do a million things instead of like 6 million things. So I can't help it. Okay, so Debbie. You've come into your own new partnership or contracts. Continue to move forward. Pretty straightforward, I think. So yes, so I do see either new friendships or new partnerships. It's literally like creating new contracts. So that's cute. So especially what I'm hearing now is like you've come into your own, Debbie. So I think you've been doing work. I think you've been doing work on yourself to attract the right people, places, and things. Like I think, again, relationships are a reflection a lot of the times of the relationship that we have with ourselves. So continue to work on yourself, continue to come into your own. It's like the fuller you fill your cup, the more you're going to attract those relationships that you've been wanting to to manifest, I think. So and it's like self-empowering. Like for me, my relationships really started changing when I started loving myself more, when I really started taking the practices seriously. Like I really understood that as long as I hate myself, I keep attracting abusive relationships because I have no fucking self-respect. And if you find yourself in a cycle, then there's something within you that needs to be healed, that needs to change, that needs to shift in order to manifest that new relationship, right? Yeah. So that self-love practice is the key to finding true love. That self-love respect is how you find those friendships that respect you back. And if you don't do the work, you wonder why you keep ending up in the same. And again, it's not something that we're taught. We have to figure it out, right? So no, not sitting there and blaming yourself for it. But what I'm hearing here is like you got to keep doing the work and keep focusing. But I do see good relationships coming in. And also I heard the word contract, right? So I feel like at some point when you reach a certain level, you have soul contracts with certain people that are meant to come in and help you elevate even more. And if you've had shitty relationships, again, those are there because they're teaching you a really, really big life lesson. So they're really tough, but I promise you will heal for them if you do the work. Like I've had such traumatic relationships in my childhood. The only one that I'm still struggling with is the relationship with my parents. That's the one that I'm like still working on very much. But like my ex who tried to kill me and used to be physically abusive, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I'm healed from that stuff now. So the more healing work you do as well, the less power these people in your past have power over you. But you got two really good major arcanas coming up. So important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So when this card comes up, this is a major arcana, Debbie, as well as like sometimes when we're tainted from relationships, we have this fear that we're going to repeat them. So we have to be very careful of that, because this is the point when you do the work where you got to trust yourself. When you've done the work, you can trust yourself. So that means if I see a red flag, walk the fuck away. Don't sacrifice yourself because you hope that somebody's going to be different from that. No, they're going to be exactly the fucking same. Like I've had to learn, even to this day, sometimes I feel like the universe tests me once in a while and throws like a little bad egg in the batch for me. And it's like, what do you think about this person? I'm like, see it. No, I'm gone. Bye. And I've had two examples of that recently. Like one, somebody who I saw narcissistic tendencies. I had an accident. They didn't bother to call me. They were always calling, dumping shit on me. And I was like, okay, I'm done. This is not great. And we're still like friends, I didn't have to be mean about it, but I was like, I see this pattern, I know this pattern, you're not allowed in my energy field. And then another one was somebody who was just very draining, always needing rescuing, always needing, like, very sweet person, there's nothing wrong with them, like, they're the sweetest person, but to work with them, it was a pain in the ass. And so I just pulled the business out. I was like, I'm not going to work with this person because I know me and I don't have the fucking patience for that type of person. Bless them. I know they mean well, but they're too slow and I just work at a certain pace, or I have a certain work ethic that I don't think that they're matching, and it's going to create conflict. I can see it a mile away. It's already pissing me off. Like, so I'm just way ahead. I trust myself, the work that I've done. And again, it's not done from a place of negativity. It's done from a smart place of self-protection, self-love, and self-respect. So you need to get to that place where you've got to trust yourself as like, and not out of fear though. You see, I'm not making these decisions like I'm afraid of that person taking something from me. You can't take anything from me. I'm taking it away. So does that make sense? And then finally, happy outcome. Okay. So you got the Sun. This is a great card. Brilliant new ideas that lead to success. Have confidence in yourself. So again, Debbie, really the key that I'm feeling behind all of this for you is just building up your self-worth and your self-confidence. You've lost a lot of self-confidence. Relationships can really destroy our confidence, which is why I live in the cave in the middle of nowhere. No, but like, they do. You know, people can really destroy our self-worth, our self-esteem, especially if they belittle us, they put us down, they do all sorts of things. They can really F you up, you know, especially parents if they're really bad parents. So this is your time to rebuild that self-worth and that self-esteem. And how do you do that? You do that by doing the work and not relying on other people to give you that. You start giving it to yourself. You know, I always say that when I met my husband, I was so happy to be single, and I just wasn't even thinking about a relationship. And you'll hear this time and time again with people who find the love of their lives, or when they find the best relationship, it's because they're full, complete. But I was desperado before that. Okay, so it took a long time for me to get to that. But I had accepted so much, I've worked on myself so much that by that point, I was like, that'd be nice, but I could really just die single I'd be so happy with my own company. I got to the place where I was so at peace with myself. I could not stand to be by myself before. So again, it can be done. It just takes a lot of work. But do the work, you'll get the results. And on top of that, you're going to get help along the way because there's people contracted to help you along the way. So, but there is relationships coming up for sure. What was it? I have also been a headache and last couple of days and seldom get headaches. Gary, it's interesting. Maybe we're like downloading frequencies that are like hopefully making our brains bigger and smarter. That's what I like to think. This year's my motto has been all about me. Fuck you, lol. Hey, sometimes that's what we need to get to, you know. But we just have to, it's a great motivator, but again, at some point we got to open up again, you know. Is there a solar stone? That wouldn't surprise me. Who knows? I just never get headaches. I mean, I do occasionally. When I used to smoke a ton, I used to get them. But now, obviously, I don't do any of that stuff. Hey, girl. Time to reclaim your power, Debbie. You got this, okay? Interesting. Well, it could be that, you know. It could be that. There you go. Gary, you and I, victims of the solar flares, who knows? But I mean, possible, you know. All right. Well, Debbie, best of luck. You've got this, okay? But keep working on yourself. Do the work. I also just linked below. I don't know if you guys see it. I don't know what you guys see on your side, but at Building Self-Worth and Confidence, I had a feeling that I had to link that course down below. That's my course. Go do that course. It's been getting really good reviews, but I think it's going to, okay, you see it. Yeah. So an example is that course is there, and it's one that you could do. It's on Insight Timeline and might help you. Oh, thank you, Maureen. Yeah, and I got a new one coming out, guys. So keep an eye out. Okay, Erin, you're next. Oh, I'm sorry, Erin. It sucks. Yamaya, thank you. Amazing. And I've got more courses as well. So the other one that I'm just going to quickly pin as well, it's one to create relationships. I do recommend it. I don't know if you guys can see all of this. Like there's one to attract your soulmate. This one's a really good one as well. And it's also helpful for relationships. So I do recommend that you get both, Debbie, that one and attract your soulmate, how to manifest your soulmate. Because I do give you tips and tools on self-love and self-love practices as well. So that's going to be very helpful. Okay, so Erin, I'm with you. Sorry. Okay, so let's see what wants to come up. Oh, the little munchkins. Sorry. My little hamsters. They're so cute. Ooh. Oh, baby. I love them so much. Ada, you're next. So one more before you. It's a bit of a list, guys. Adya, sorry, yes. Oh, I see there's two of you. Is that why we're getting confused now? Huh. I see. Now I can see why I got confused. So there's Ada and then there's Adya. Oh my God, I'm dyslexic, y'all. So this is like typical me. So what I'm going to do Adya and then I'm going to do Ada. Or Ada and then Adya. Okay. Whatever. I'm going to put you guys there next to each other. Now I see what happened. Now I understand why I was confused. It's an easy one to get confused though. I'm sure I like just, you know. Okay, sorry, Erin. That one's an easy one to confuse for sure. Okay. Okay. All right, so Erin, you got a lot of swords, okay? So swords often mean, of course, mental stuff. Mental blocks, a lot of like inner chatter. We do have some release though, okay? So, healing and a second chance. So I'm just listening to what they want to say. So I feel like there's like this need to drop something. There's like a need. I'm seeing like whatever the mental stuff that's going on, I feel like you're holding on to a story or a belief or a pattern or something. And what I'm seeing here in the cards, you have to interpret this on your own, but what I'm seeing is like you're dropping some of these attachments, and ego came up, okay? So being entrapped by your own beliefs, by your own thoughts, it's like you're keeping your mind is keeping you prisoner, and oftentimes that's how mental health stuff happens, you know? So it's I hate saying this because it's like so much easier said than done, obviously, but there is a need to release some of these attachments, some of these beliefs, Erin. So these are the things that are causing pain. So attachment to things, basically, they attach themselves to your identity. And when we identify with something, then the ego gets involved. And even if it's good or bad for us, the problem with that is that oftentimes the ego will do anything to hold us into that reality. And so it can do literally anything. I've suffered myself from extreme mental health. So I completely understand what that is. I used to have a panic disorder. I suffered from depression for most of my life. And what I had to acknowledge personally was my attachments, my ego. This is going to be a bit of a tricky one. In what ways does your mental issues, your mental health disorders serve you? This is going to take a little minute for you to reflect on. I'll give you an example of mine so this can really help you out, hopefully. So I realized that I was very much identified and attached myself to somebody who was a depressed person, who had severe depression. Now, I did actually have depression. It's not like I'm just like saying this is like made up shit, but it becomes a part of your identity. Now, when I really heard this question, I was like, in what ways does depression serve me? And most people are like, what do you mean? Depression doesn't serve anybody. I was like, oh yes, it does. It made me incredibly powerful. Because if you know if somebody walks in the room with depression, they will notice. You feel that energy walking in, that dark, thick cloud of that intense frequency walking into the room. You can feel it a mile away. So it kept people away from me. And it repelled people. It repelled life. It kept me essentially in this like stopping people from getting close to me. And again, it kept me powerful. It was a form of power that I was familiar with. Now, my idea of me becoming somebody happy, the ego shift from becoming somebody who's depressed to somebody who's happy was incredibly like what the F? That sounds impossible. But what I had to do is I had to let go of those identities. I had to stop telling myself that I was a drug addict. I had to stop telling myself that I was a damaged goods. I had to stop telling myself that I was mentally ill. And I was like, I am somebody who is healing. I shifted my identity. I shifted my beliefs about myself. And if you hear anybody about manifesting anything, that's what they essentially do. They change their identity. And once they change their identity, once they become and fully embody it, then they activate those frequencies and then they manifest it. So mental illness, from my own experience, we're not born with it, especially if it's depression or anxiety. It's created. And it's often created due to traumas, due to experiences, due to things that we might not even remember because the mind blocks it out. So there are things that you can do essentially to help you out of it. So for me, it made sense. I had depression and anxiety, right? So it's like mental stuff. It was all in the mind for me. It was the way I was talking to myself, the routine patterns, the everything, my addictions. So I just said, okay, I just got to fix all of that. So I started doing affirmations. I started meditating. I started learning, educating myself. My entire time was focused on healing. And my goal was, I don't even fucking care if I do heal. The point is, this is who I am now. And eventually I obviously healed. I don't have depression anymore. I don't have anxiety. But you have to do the work, because just as you are committed to this identity that is damaged and fucked up, you have to put the same time and energy into committing into the healed version of yourself. So I would literally I started, I always worked out because that's the eating disorder stuff. That was a whole other thing. So I'm grateful for it, because now I'm like gym addict, but I'm healthy gym addict, not bad gym addict, but it took a minute. But I had that dedication. And then, like I said, I meditated every day. I behaved like somebody who was already recovered, who was already healed. And I fell down a million times. Okay. Fell down, got back up again, fell down, got back up again, fell down. I mean, you could have beaten me with a stick. I was like Rocky in that moment. Is like, I'm used to suffering. I was like, I breathe and it's freaking painful. So, I mean, I was like, what's that pain? And again, I always like to say this, Erin, is like, having a mental illness is difficult and healing is difficult. Choose your hard. And I chose that hard because I knew that was not going to lead down the right road. So I did everything in my power to go down here. So I would wake up, listen to podcasts. I would do affirmations, even though I was repulsed by affirmations. I was like, I got to do something here. I'm repulsed by it. It's probably the thing that I need. Started doing yoga. I started working out. I started reading books about self-help. I mean, everything, all day, every day. That's all I did. And I built up skills. I built up tools. I started feeling better. And then eventually I got myself out of a level. Of course, you always need help from the outside, but do the work yourself. It's hard. It's very difficult. It's not easy, but I'm an example that you can totally do that. Yeah, and the addiction, by the way, it's just self-medicating, okay? So once you start doing the work, the addiction was the last thing that I let go of. The first thing that I did, though, was working on my depression. So I always like to use the triangle as an example. So whenever everything is important, nothing's important. So right now you have to look at the number one thing that is the biggest problem in your life. Is it your mental health? Is it your addiction? Is it your depression? Is it your anxiety? And that could change every single day. But you got to clock that. So let's just say today I wake up and I want to kill myself. Obviously, my depression is my number one issue today. Everything else doesn't matter. My number one focus today is to focus on my depression. So I would do affirmations around it. I would watch some videos around people who have recovered from depression. I would embody my inner healer, my inner therapist, my inner doctor. Because even though I don't know exactly how to get there, I know what I need to do. And the doing of it is the hard part. That most people just go, oh yeah, I know I need to get sober. Oh yeah, I know I need to that. And then they just leave it at that. So I was like, I know I need to do this. Okay, let me try. Let me try this. Didn't work. All right, tomorrow's another day. All right, let me try this. Oh, that made me feel a little bit better. Cool, I'll put that in my pocket. So it's going to take work. But I do see that you are going to start moving forward. So I do see you're going to enjoy the outcome, okay? So understand that essentially this is what's happening. You're trapped by these beliefs and you got to start dropping them. You got to start dropping these identities and catch yourself saying certain things about yourself. and then like now I'm doing it as like, now I'm a multi-millionaire, now I'm like, you know, whatever it is, I'm a #1 author, now I am an award-winning actress. Like I step up every time because I want to move up to something next. But you know, before it was just like, I'm somebody who just enjoys their day. Like it was very basic, you know. So baby steps, but you're going to get there. But I feel like if you keep doing the work and you keep trying, the problem is just the baby steps, right? Oh, I'm glad, Erin. Yay. You got this, okay? But again, look for inspiration. Think of it. I'm embodying my inner therapist and my inner healer. I already know what suffering is like. Like whatever I do, it's going to suck. So I might as well choose something that sucks, that is good for me, as opposed to something that's bad. You know, it's going to hurt either way. So I rather get uncomfortable and do something out of my comfort zone. And then it gets exciting because then you don't know where you're going to go, what you're going to try. So you never know. Start the adventure. Okay, so I'm going to do Adia. You're welcome. ADIA. And then I'm going to do the other one, which I can't say because I have Adia written down first. The one with the little black cat emoji. Yes. My spirituality has been expanding in a great way. What's coming for 2026? Oh. Solar storm was massive. Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows? It could be that. It could also just be a headache. But I do believe we get affected by that stuff. I think everybody, though, is a little bit different to their sensitivity to it. Ooh. We like that card. Okay, so Adia. I hope I'm saying your name right, by the way. Or Adia. So a job well done. Joy, contentment, and gratitude. The path towards enlightenment. Okay, girl. She got it figured out. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from the situation. Review everyone's motives. Interesting. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. A guardian angel. Okay. So now what I'm getting, I hope I'm saying it right, Adia. We're just going to go with Adia. The world card, essentially what I'm hearing is like, yes, I feel like you have been feeling that expansion. You have been feeling that upgrade, and you have been feeling that shift. So again, like anything, when we get to the next level, guess what? There's going to be new challenges, new lessons, and new obstacles that show up, which is how life goes, really. So I do feel like in 2026, something is going to like, it's all good spiritually, but now it's like, how are you going to implement those lessons? It's almost like, yes, and now I've learned the skills and I've learned the tools, and now the universe is like, well, show me now how you've evolved. How are you going to implement this when that challenge shows up? You know, spirituality, I always say this, for me, it's like, it's such an interesting thing because people always feel it like it's not a physical thing, but this is a school. So anybody can sit in meditation and get the downloads, but then we have to apply those downloads. And that to me is the most spiritual part of it. It's like you do a test, and then when you do the test, do you pass the test? So that's what I kind of feel like it's going to happen in 2026. It's like now all the work that you've implemented, now it's going to be tested. It's going to be like, let's really see how far you've gone and what you still need to tweak maybe. I feel like there's something about also other people coming in. It's almost like some people are going to challenge you along the way. I feel like it's going to come in the form of other people challenging you. I think that's the best way I could put the words into it. But the good thing is, again, it's like a lot of work moving forward. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments, a guardian angel. So If you want to succeed next year, just make sure that when you say you're going to do something, follow through with it. If you have that vision of that idea, then move forward into it. Don't get lost into, again, the spiritual, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then just remember to physically apply it. So if you get that download and that calling, like I said recently, I got this calling just to spend an entire day in meditation. I've learned to listen to those things, because even though at the time it's like, what do you mean I'm going to sit quiet for 10 hours? Yeah. Because you never know what it's going to do. And so I trust that download now, because I'm like, this came to me for a reason, and it's trying to show me something that I need to understand, and I don't get it right now, but I'm going to physically do it because I heard to do it. I also feel like the guardian angel thing come up as well. So I do feel like you're going to also build a stronger connection to your spiritual team. So asking them also to help you along the way. So beginning to build a new relationship with them is like it's evolving. So it's like taking that to it's like next level. And by the way, speaking of angels, I do have a course on how to connect with your angels. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. But that one's a really cool one, because one of the things that I've learned with angels is that they will help you and stuff, but you really want them to help you. You really gotta be like, all right, guys, I'm giving you full permission to help me. You always have to kind of give them the green light, because they like that, and they also like it when you tell them what to do. It's like, hey, I need help with this very specific thing, or can you guide me, or can you help me with that? Hey, Kat. No, it's not too late. I've got a bit of a list going on right now. You're so welcome, Adia. And so now it's Ada, the other one. Now it's your time to ask a question. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in line right now. But we'll get through it. I'm trying to go through it as fast as I can. I have a vision of acting in Hollywood films, and I know what I want, but I'm a Seattle, and I don't know how to move towards California or the career I dream of. I need guidance because I feel stuck mostly financially. Ada, you're preaching to the choir here. I moved from Australia to California for acting. Okay, so let me just see. So one of the things that we'll say, just because I am in the industry myself, the good thing about now is that you don't have to always be in LA to book work. Luckily, you can book stuff because everything is done over self-tapes now. So if I were you, one of the things I would do is just self-submit for stuff that is already running in LA. And when you book the job, just hopefully if you have somewhere to stay, if not, just find somewhere cheap to stay. But that would be one way to do it. So you move. I know a couple of girls who do this, who they live in Florida. When they book a job, they come here, they film, and then they go back to Florida. So they kind of get to know the area and kind of build up a little bit that way. That could be also a great way to do baby steps, but you're already in the country. So that helps. I moved from a completely different country to get the visa and all this sort of stuff. So I will tell you, it is incredibly tough. I would suggest to try and build up the resume before you do that. Now, this is actor to actor. Again, it is Hollywood. So, girl, anything's possible. You could walk in at the right place at the right time. However, everything now, it's a lot better than when I started, though, because there was a lot of shady shit happening at the time. Just trying to get the cards. Give me 1 second. Is this one? That doesn't want to come out. I feel like it's this one. Okay. There is Backstage, Actors Access, casting networks. These are all of the platforms. I will tell you, the other thing that you can do is start trying to get an agent or a manager. Again, ton of crap ones. Even the good ones are not that good. I have good ones, and they don't really get me as much work. I book everything myself. So again, building up that resume is the key. But let's see if they have anything to tell you to help you with that. Having said that, people have done it before. You just got to be willing to put the work in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have already a show reel? Do you already have a bit of work behind you? Because if you don't, then yeah. And even, listen, I've been on TV shows, proper TV shows. I've been on Showtime. I've been on Stars. I've been on all the big films and all that sort of stuff. And it's still hard for me to get an agent, okay? It can be, for sure. Doesn't mean, though, that has anything to do with your skills necessarily, but you do need your show reel and stuff. Like, that's what I'm saying. Build up your credits first before you move here, because you're going to be a very small fish in a big pond. Okay, so that's the first thing you got to do, girl. Like, you got to get the show reel, the work going. Even on YouTube now, you can just build up your own. I mean, there's so many people who just had YouTube channels filled themselves, and then from there they built up a career. There's so many avenues, but you got to do the work. There's also online courses that you can do where they fly you over and you meet with agents and stuff, and sometimes they give you the agents. Like, this is the stuff that you got to look into if you want to make it happen. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities, okay? And falling in love or waiting a proposal, the need to balance emotions, an invitation to a social event. Okay, so it's pretty much what I've been telling you here. One of the things that I will say is that you are feeling like you're missing an opportunity. So there is more of a gap in your energy field, like this is meant for me and I'm not there. Be very careful with that. This is something that I'm falling into. When you have that, sometimes you amplify the lack and then you get demotivated. So let's just say, Ada, that what does a working actor look to you like? And these are two questions as well as an actor you have to figure out. Do you want to be famous or do you want to be a working actor? Very different approach to your career. I want to be a working actor, okay? If fame comes with it, great, whatever. But I want to be working actor. What does that mean? I literally book 3 to 4 jobs a month minimum. So I'm always working, always working. Now, if you want to be famous, then that means you have to think about your image, the specific roles that you want to go for. You want to have that vision, okay? Because for me, I could play anything. You give me anything, I'm good. I don't give a shit. Just pay me. You know what I mean? I'm like, just fucking pay me. I just want to get paid to do what I love. If you want to be famous, then you got to be very strategic about the type of roles that you want, because you don't want to go down the wrong direction. It's no right or wrong. It's just more like I want to go down this avenue. And both can lead to the same thing, but again, just something for you to think about. So, sensible approach. Okay, so Ada, what I'm hearing here essentially is like you got to make a plan. I feel like you're the kind of person that at the same time you have this dream, but dreams can also lead to stupid decisions. And it can also motivate you to take those leap of faith and you know, again, you want the delusional and you want the organized structure together. Okay, so you don't want just the delusional because you're going to fall flat on your face, and you don't just want the structure because that can also take you away from taking big risks. So you need a combination of both. Okay, so the delulu, it's like I have this dream, I know I'm capable of it, I don't have any fucking proof, but in my mind I can do this. Absolutely you can. If you put the work in, anybody can. Next, I need to build a structure. Like I said, it's like, okay, so I need to make a plan. I need to learn, educate myself about how do I start booking work. And like I said, the best thing that I would do if I were you got to build that show reel. You got to build your resume before you even attempt to come to LA, because you're going against a ton of actors. Everybody's here. So you don't want to walk in here with no experience. You want to walk in here with some level of confidence. Again, doesn't mean you can't make it, but I think a lot of people, this is the delulu, that they come in thinking that they're the shit and they do it, and then they realize what type of talent they're against, and they're just like, yep, and then they give up. Okay, so you don't want to give up, because you're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to get a lot of no. You're going to get a lot of, and it's going to be very difficult. Having said all of that, doesn't mean it always has to be that way, okay? I've had amazing things happen to me, opportunities show up, and you just want to be ready for those opportunities. And I fucked them up before because I was in Delulu land and not organized land. I had big opportunities that I totally blew because of that Delulu land. So make that plan, okay? So start really thinking like you already are a working, famous actress. And I mean famous in the sense of like, not that arrogance, not that like, look at me, I'm like, no. The famous is like a rich, successful, multi-millionaire person, right? It's like business thinking. It's like, all right, so if I want to work towards this career, then I got to start working out. I got to start doing this. I got to start talking to this, and that agent. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. So making a plan, making a map. I do see an opportunity coming in for you, okay? But you also have to put yourself out there and start looking for those things, okay? So I do see that leap of faith, that leap of opportunity. Like I said, there's online courses that fly you here. You can do those kind of things. Start looking for agents, but you got to build that resume. Itchy eye now. And just balance your emotions, because it is a very up and down industry, right? You're going to have times where you're going to be working and things might happen, and there's times when nothing's happening. Inbound, Tim. So does that make sense, Ada? I'm not going to go too deep into it because that's really where you got to start. You know what I mean? So make the plan and start thinking of yourself as a working actor. And from working actor, you might want to become famous or whatever, but you got to also earn that, you know? Okay, good. What are you guys going on about? Piggies. Okay. What is that name? Give me 1 second. It's M. Mao? What did I write? This is when I write too fast and I can't even read my own writing. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm not going to be able to go all the way back. Mao, Maya, Mai. Let's see. Oh, no, I can't go back. Manu. That's what it is. Thank you, Nikisha. She's onto it. I'm not. I don't know what I wrote. This is like really bad writing here. All right, Manu, what's your question? And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 still in line, guys. So we'll get there. Yeah, if you ask me about acting, I could talk about that forever because I've been in the industry since I was a teenager. So, and I have still, like, I think because of I messed up my career when I was younger. I feel like I messed it up. It's probably a story I'm telling myself. I noticed I've created all of this trauma now linked to my career because my career was taking off and I was like booking roles on TV shows and blah, 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 blah. And then my mental health kicked in and I started smoking weed. And then I started my depression kicked in and I wasn't coping or dealing with the traumas at home. And then my career just went from this to just that. So, Manu, are you still here? Just checking in. You're second last, Yamaya. Sorry. So I still have, if I can read my own writing, I don't know, like Christina, Catherine, Susie, Sol, Yamaya, and Nakisha. Oh, thank you, Ada. I appreciate that. Okay, so Manu, I don't see you, so I'm going to move on, okay? So now we have Christina with a K. I think it's Christina. Really got to write down the names properly. I just write really fast and I'm like, oh, I can read it later. I'm like, nope, cannot read it. I have the worst handwriting. I'm always jealous of people who have beautiful handwriting. I'm always like, oh, the patience. Thank you. Should I put my energy into teaching yoga? Ooh, okay, let's find out. Interesting. This one doesn't come up, so. La 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 la. What are you piggies doing? Whoop whoop. Nope. Jeez Louise. Okay, so I was hoping I would get the yoga card. I think that's why I chose this, but I didn't. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't. Yeah. Well, maybe I was waiting for that one. Okay. I'm going to use these ones too because I feel like I'm not getting a clear message right now. I did see new romance immediate, either with a newcomer or through a regained passion in your existing relationship. Be open to giving and receiving love. You are protected from all types of harm. The worst is now behind you. So the only thing that I'm getting with that is there is a desire for a new relationship. Now, Christina, this doesn't mean a person. This may mean a new relationship with a business, with yourself, with a new path. There's a desire for something new, right? So I think that you're questioning yourself a lot because there's a lot of fear of fucking up. There's a lot of fears like, this is a commitment. What if I go down the road path? What if I commit to this thing and then halfway through I realize it's like, this is not really what I wanted to do. So what it's saying here is that you can't fuck this up. So trust yourself, because they're saying spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intention. Ask the angels to help you gain positive perspective. So what I'm hearing is, Christina, you really got to ask for clear signs, but also just trusting yourself. Stop questioning yourself, because even if, let's just say, you make the decision to become a yoga teacher and halfway through you're like, this blows, man, this is not for me. That's okay, because you were there for a reason to begin with. You had that calling for a reason, and it was meant to teach you something. There are so many things that I started. I always finish everything that I start, but I never see it as a waste of time. I've started like so many online courses that I never took anywhere. And, you know, I sit there and I'm like, man, I spent like a month or 2 months building this thing and it didn't go anywhere. But then I'm like, you know how much I learned of what not to do? You know how much I've grown in that time, and we just see things as rewards. We just want that money, we just want the audience, we just want whatever it is, right? And we're thinking that's the thing. That's not always the goal. The goal sometimes is to learn a skill or to learn what you should not be doing. So the point of this is like, you're protected regardless of your decision, regardless of where you want to go. You cannot fuck this up. And then the incarnated gnomes are here to help you reconnect with your ancient wisdom of earth. The plants, the nature, the world, they encourage you to return to what is healthy, nurturing, and aligned with your true self. It's time to release any toxic habits or traits that no longer serve you. Ground yourself, listen to nature's guidance, and embrace the healing power of Mother Earth. So I think this yoga idea is taking you more and more and more towards who you really are. And I think that's ultimately what you're trying to discover, is like, who am I and why am I here? What is my purpose on this earth? And yoga does unlock that. But again, it could be a stepping stone for something much, much greater. So again, I don't feel like you can fuck this up. But what I'm hearing here is like, you might need that reassurance from the universe. So what I'm hearing is spend time alone in nature. Ask the angels for a clear sign. Very fucking clear sign. Because maybe that's the reassurance that you're looking for. So it's like, universe, God, angels, whatever you believe in, Satan, don't care. You know, the point is, you're like, hey, I need a very clear message to build up this confidence, because if this is true in alignment, give me that thing. And you know what? Sometimes what happens, guys, is that if you don't get that sign, you get disappointed. Then you know it was right for you anyway to begin with. Because if you really want something and you didn't get the sign, you're like, but I really wanted a sign. And it's like, well, then you really want it. So again, it's that way how you know you can't fuck that up. I was like, you know, sometimes it's like, we want that reassurance, but deep down you'll know either way. Okay, does that help you, Christina? And next we got Catherine. You're welcome. Tea, cold tea. Nothing better than cold tea. You're welcome. Let's put something else up here. This is cool. I didn't realize that I had this whole thing up here where you can like... That's so cool. Hey Carla, good to see you. I'd love a cold tea. General reading, please. Yeah, let's have a reading about tea. I would love to read coffee and tea, by the way. That always looks epic. Okay, so Catherine, let me just channel your energy. Went hot fast. Getting hot, hot, hot. See, I like hot tea though. Even in summer, I'll still mostly do a hot tea, unless it's like sometimes with ice. Ooh. Sorry. Oh. Imagine if you had like a psychic literally like doing that while she's giving you a reading. She's like, oh, geez, okay. Okay, Catherine. You got a lot of fire happening, like a lot of fire. So, Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Very interesting. And then you got competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. Don't give up. Protect that which you created. Have courage and believe in yourself. So, whenever I get the dragons, Catherine, often, sorry, not the dragons, is this card here. It means conflict. Oftentimes it means, it's almost like I feel like someone or something, it could be from your past, it could be for your present or somebody in the future, but someone essentially can get in the way or is beating you down or is telling you that you're not enough. It could be yourself too, by the way, because we do that. So you got to embody that badass bitch, basically, Catherine. Like it's saying you got to reclaim your power. You got to stop allowing the people, places, and things to affect your self-worth and your self-esteem. Don't underestimate yourself either. I think you put yourself like I don't think you're aware of what you're truly capable of. And because I feel like it's almost like a little bit, you diminish yourself a little bit because you're afraid of your own power. Sometimes it's like it can be threatening to other people. Like sometimes when we're big and we're loud and we're like enter the room and you can see that girl, it's like, it does something. So assert your independence and creativity is like, it's basically saying, like, see how she's like sitting on a throne with that dragon looking at you going, don't F with me, like I got this. That's the kind of energy that I feel like they want you to start embodying and not being afraid of your true potential. And power, by the way, doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be loud. Power is just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like something you have. You don't have to be like big and crazy about it. It's like, I'm powerful. Like, no, it's like, it could be quiet power. It could be just that confidence. It could be that whatever it is. I'm not sure. So the other thing that I'm hearing is like to protect what you've been creating, protect yourself, protect something within you. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage to believe in yourself. Again, it's like believing yourself, having courage. So I feel like it's going back to what I was saying before at the start, is even like to somebody here. It's like sometimes people can say things to us and really like stop us from writing that book, stop us from making that post, stop us from pursuing that career, and I mean, I'm so glad that I've stopped listening to people, because those are the people whose lives I don't want to be living half the time. Like I know a lot of people are judging my posts who are close to me, and it's oftentimes the people that are closest to you, because they're so used to my old identity that they're like, who does she think she is that she's doing this now? Because I'm a completely different person now. So to them, that's uncomfortable, because I'm on social media talking about things, promoting my book, my products, and people are like, fuck man, she's lost it. But I'm okay with that, because I don't want to be living your life. You don't even know what my vision is. But it's so easy to allow that opinion, and that person's going to say that thing about you, to stop you from doing it. But the difference is, I'm happier, I'm doing what I love, and I'm on my own thing. And if I really want to give them that power, yes, let them. So, that's what I'm hearing here. So I don't know what it is that you're meant to pursue. I don't know what it is that you're meant to go after, Catherine. There's something there within you, though, that you need to follow, and don't allow anything outside to take that away from you. That is your power. That is your light, and the universe and the world needs it. And when we allow those things from the outside to stop us from shining it, we're essentially taking a gift away from the universe and others, and ourselves, of course. That was deep. Tim, my grandma used to drink tea, and that was hot like magma. I swear the woman had a cast iron mouth. That's funny. Okay. Oh, I see. So she's, so who did I just, 1 second, it was, okay. And then I did do, okay, cool. So Susie is next. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I missed you, just let me know. 2 minutes. It comes from working on a healthcare. Ever getting a kappa. I love the kappa. Susie, I have a corporate job right now. I'm wondering if that's the path I'm meant to be on or if there is more for me. Okay, let's find out. Ooh, it got hot. Speaking of hot, Lidos. Might get you guys to. Did you guys ever meet my new rats? They're so cute. Hey, Teddy. So sweet. Ooh. Oh. All right, so Susie, I'm going to be honest because the card tells you to be honest. Be honest with yourself. Look into your heart and you will know the truth of the situation. It's safe to admit the truth to yourself, for we will support and guide you through any necessary changes. Lean upon us for courage and strength to take good care of yourself. Focus only upon your true desires and they will come to you upon angel wings. And then creative project. Your soul longs to express itself in a creative ways. We're guiding you to infuse artistry and creativity into your life. Creative expression makes you feel alive and excited. And reignites passion towards your life. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So, a couple of things here though, Susie. Just because you've gone into a corporate job doesn't mean there's not a reason for that. Corporate jobs really teach you a lot about business, about structure, okay? But it's obviously here it's saying that deep down in your heart, you used to be a dancer, I miss the expression, there you go. So, the thing is, be honest with yourself. You already know that this is not for you, okay? The corporate job is not for you. It's just a phase. It's just a stepping forward, okay? Sometimes we got to step into something that isn't exactly for us, but it's going to teach us something, like I was saying before. It's like the only time you fuck some things up, if you stay in it when you're so depressed, so miserable, and you keep pushing through it, expecting it to change at some point. Use this job for as long as you need until you retain the information, the education that you need. There's something here that you obviously need to learn, or you wouldn't have ended up into it. But understand that there's something else that is calling you. Now, dance is obviously a thing, but again, like I said before with the acting, right? You can have that delulu, but without structure and business abilities, we don't have anything solid. That's why so many brilliant artists don't go anywhere. It's because they don't have a business mindset. And that's why so many crap artists make it successful, is because they're brilliant at business. So so the point is that I'm trying to say is, like, you're obviously here for a reason. Go with it, but understand that this is not your end point. There is something here that is essentially going to give you some sort of tool or skills that is going to help you for the stepping stone, maybe for something else. And there's creativity that needs to be expressed within you. It could be a hobby on the side. It could be a part-time job. But this is you will know, because by the time when it's time to leave that job, you will feel dead. You will start feeling like a zombie, and then it's like life is just fucking meaningless and there's no point. So we don't want to get to that. So that's the only time where you fail, is if you stay into a job that is like destroying you. And I've done that. I've stayed in waitressing jobs where I loathed them with a passion. I have PTSD from waitressing. Seriously, I hate it. I'm a terrible waitress on top of everything else. I have no patience for people. I have zero tolerance, and I'm super rude. So I just should never be in front of like serving anything ever at any point ever. And it brings out the worst in me, okay? But I learned a lot, okay? But then I stayed in it for too long, and then it became toxic. So you'll know. Just trust yourself. I think just be honest with yourself, though. Don't go into something and go, oh, no, this is going to be great. You're like, this fucking sucks. I hate it. But how can I get the most out of this? Get some money, save some money, and in the meantime, use that energy in your brain to figure out something else. And maybe a business idea will come up, or maybe an opportunity will show up, and then just go and grab it if it shows up. But in the meantime, this is serving you somehow. So it's okay to be in it, but just a reminder to stay in it if it's killing you, okay? I wish somebody told me that back then. I wish I had somebody telling me that back then. I had no one. It just sucks. I wish. You're welcome. All right, Soul. We're almost at the end, guys. I got Soul, Yamai, I can't say that, and then Nakisha. So I got 2 more. Yamaya, Yamai, Yamaya. Itchy hip. Hi, Munchkin. What are you doing? Oh. So I'm waiting for Soul. Give me 1 second. I'll just get a little hamster so you guys can say hi. Hi, handsome. Oh, the little Munchkin. Look at that little fatty. Hey. Little chunky boy. Aren't you? I love you. Okay, bye. So cute. I had to share that cuteness. Okay, Soul is not answering, so we're going to move on to the next. Yamaya. They're so sweet, those boys. Yeah. I have a couple that are a little feisty, but for the most part, my hamsters are like super gentle. They're little fluffies. So Yamaya, what's your question, my love? They're helping with the reading. Yes, their energy. There's a lot of rodents in here. It always stinks in here. I hate it, but still worth it. My question was about moving out of the country. Do it. No, I'm trying. Let's find out. Okay, my cards are hot. And then at the end, if you guys want, I'll introduce you to one of my rats. Okay. Let me get more cards because I'm not getting a full yes or no about the trip, but what I'm getting is like you're getting intuitive insights, something about being honest again with yourself, and then asking for spiritual guidance. Well, gotcha. All right, so Yamaya, when it comes to some other source outside, honestly, there's a couple of things that are happening here. So one of them, I'll give you an example. This is probably going to piss some people off. Hopefully I don't get pushed out of the internet, but there are always going to be good and bad things in the world, okay? And of course, we're not talking about like if war breaks out, definitely get out. But fear is a very powerful tool, okay? So right now, politics, if you're involved in the politics right now, especially in the US, it doesn't happen anywhere else, by the way, guys. It's very much in the US because you guys get a lot of propaganda, a lot of like TV left and right. There's this constant like war between one another. And depending on which side you're on, either one is fed with fear. One is fed with fear, the other one is fed with anger. Fear is a very powerful tool that makes you do crazy things. Now, it might be your calling, okay? But this makes sense why yes, there's a ton of division, and this is the biggest issue with this politics. So that's what they want. Division is where it makes you weak. My point of view always with it is just like stay smack bang in the middle. Don't take a left, don't take a right, despite of the right or wrong, because when you're in the middle, then you can always see the truth of things. But when you're too much on one side and too much on the other side, you're going to get wrapped up in the story. But having said that, an example is, for instance, when COVID broke out, everybody flipped out. Everybody went into a full panic state. Everybody went into lockdown. I made a decision not to be afraid around that time. What ended up happening is that I had the best time of my life during COVID. I traveled. I was working the entire time, of course, safely, all of it within the law. I was meeting new people. I was doing so much, okay? Well, as everybody else was fucking miserable, okay? Why? Because I stopped watching online stuff. Like, I did not listen to what was going on. Now, having said that, some people could say that I was being irresponsible, whatever you want, but I realized there was a big fear that was going to happen, and I stepped back from it. The reason why I'm saying this, Yamai, is because if you're making a decision out of fear, it doesn't always lead you down the right direction. So this is making sense, right? I'm not saying that there isn't things to be afraid of. There isn't things that are bad. I'm not taking that away, because obviously there are stuff going on. But what I'm hearing here is like you're getting a lot of the same cards, which is wisdom and objectivity are important. Now stay in your integrity. A situation that calls for honest and open communication. Release the past. You will grow from the situation. Time, heal all wounds. So sometimes you just got to give it a bit of time. Then you got the warlocks invite you to see the truth, even if it is painful, dark, and mysterious. Do not be afraid, for fear will only control you. Instead, acknowledge the shadows within you, and from there, choose who you want to become. So when fear comes in, guys, it makes us feel really powerless. And in these kind of situations, you've got to kind of like decide, I'm going to embody the very thing that I want to see in the world. I'm not going to preach it, maybe a little bit, but I'm not going to that's the only way you can reclaim your power back. So despite everything that's happening, the most powerful thing that I can do is heal myself and be in my power and in my strength and in my integrity. And that energy for me, it's like when I made that decision around the COVID situation, that's the reason why I had such an amazing time. It's because I just made a choice. I'm going to be already healed. I'm already going to be healthy. I'm already going to be free in my mind or however else. And so it rippled out that way. So with the politics, it's kind of the same things. This war that's going on between the two, if you allow it to affect you, then it has control over you. So all I'm hearing here essentially is like, you got to be very careful with that. And when you make decisions out of fear, because that's the whole point of fear, is to control you. Fear makes you controllable. If you have no fear, you cannot be controlled. End of story. So there are things that you can do. So if you want to move out of the country, go for it. I mean, if it's something that's been going on for a long time and it's something that has been feeling off for you, go for it. But really ask yourself the truth. Am I doing this because I'm in fear, or am I doing this because this is something that I desire? Very, very different things. Hey guys, welcome. Yeah, and listen, I've watched the news. I watch both, okay? I like to see all perspectives, by the way, because for me, it's like just watching one type of news, you're only getting one side of the story. So I watched both. I have people from the Republican side in my family, and I have people who are Democrats. I'm always open to all and every point of view, okay? Because I'm like, not everybody's Republican is bad, racist, and all that. That doesn't make any freaking sense. And then everybody's on the left, they're not all like this kind of label, this, and that. So I'm like, let me talk to people. Let me hear what they believe in. What, when you're relaxed and you're open to hearing people, you see their point of view. But when you're coming in defensive, it's like, I'm right and you're wrong and that's it. Well, that's obviously going to cause conflict, because they think that they're right and you're wrong and that's it. So when I started opening up, I started seeing things. But then what happened was, when I was watching, for instance, Fox News, I would get angry in this. And when I was watching the left side, I would go into fear. And so it's like, whatever you're watching is going to have an effect on your mind. So maybe choose to watch something different. Maybe take yourself out of fear first, Yamaya, and then from there make a choice. Because if you're in that fear, you're making you're making a choice maybe that you might regret later on, or you might not. But again, you want to step out of it for a minute and really sit with yourself and say, what do I want? Outside of the fear, outside of the chaos, outside of all of this. Maybe I want an adventure and I'm using this as an excuse to kick my ass and move out. Great, go for it. But what I'm hearing here is just be aware of that, because one thing I do know is whenever we make a decision out of fear, it doesn't always lead to the best answers. It can make it like build up even more resentment, even more anger, even more frustration, because then you have to like justify your decision and you put yourself in a tricky situation financially because you moved, because it costs money, and then you're in another country. But again, if you want to do it, I've heard people doing it and they're like, that was the best decision I've ever made. But oftentimes they do it because they're looking for something in the other place, not because they're running away from something else. Again, if a war breaks out, get the F out. That's an obvious one, right? But we're not there. All of this war that's happening, it's happening between people that you don't know. And really, guys, you're free. Like, we're not talking about a country where women have to be covered up and the men have the rights to beat you up. Like, we got to get a little bit realistic here as well. It's like, I get what you're saying. Shit is definitely happening. It's not the best, but life has always been that way. So just be aware of that. Yeah. So be careful at what you watch, even if it feels like it's right. If it's creating fear, this is why I don't watch the news, man. And when I do watch it, I watch it with intention. It's like, it's going to manipulate the shit out of you. Hey, Jacqueline, dipping in. If you're always dropping gems, fear makes trouble follow you too. Yes, absolutely too. You know, so I feel like it's not so much me telling you what you need to do. It's more about you really making a choice from a place of, do I desire this or am I running away from something? Okay. Because then again, you're gonna have resentment, you're gonna have even more anger, and you're gonna have even more something else, because you will feel like you got pushed out as opposed to you chose to move out. Does that make sense, Yamaya? So the moral of the story is, don't let politics get in the way of your choices, you know. Okay. But great question, by the way, and it's definitely something that I think a lot of people feel. I think it's also different if you want to move out of state. Sometimes the states have something to do with it, and I've heard people doing that. But again, I always saw resentment and anger in that. It's like they felt pushed out as opposed to chosen. And then it's like, you know, I used to do door to door for a long time, and I used to knock on doors, and people would be mad at, like, I'm moving out of California. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And they're like, yeah, this is like ridiculous. I'm like, well, but you could see that anger and that frustration as opposed to, oh yeah, we decided to move to like Georgia because there's more nature and it's a little bit more open. Very different energy, you know. So you want to go with the, I want to do this, not I have to do this. Yeah. And it'll give you a lot more peace. And then when you make your decision, you know you're making it from an empowered place, not from a place where your power was taken away from you. Okay. When you have fear, you give them power. It's just how it is, you know. It's so true. And the anger and fear mongering, when you stand in your own integrity, it's easier to listen to inner knowing. If you stay in your purpose, you'll be in a safer place. Yes, absolutely. And by the way, it can piss people off. You know, I mean, we're talking about collective mindsets here, being part of groups. I mean, I can get very brutally honest with this stuff, but again, at some point, I think I'm going to get to it. But I will often say people that both sides don't want to hear. And I will often say things that people don't like to hear, because I really try to sit in the middle of things. And I'm all about really just humans, faulted humans, broken humans, and humans who do have the good intention. But I think both sides really deep down, when you're evil, you don't see yourself as evil. You think you're doing the right thing. So it gets very tricky. It gets very complicated, the whole situation. But in the end, don't allow them to take your power away. Make empowered choices. I should be a politician. No, I would hate it. Okay, Nikisha, you're last. I would force everybody to be vegan. So that would not go well with a lot of people. I think the only people that would like me is probably some hippies and all the vegans and the animals. Oh, thank you, Nikisha. Vote for me. Oh, you're nearly vegan, Nicola. Amazing. The animals will thank you. Yes. They will be so, so happy. Oh, you're welcome, Yamaya. You got this, girl. But yeah, always make an empowered choice, okay? And sometimes we don't even realize that our power's been taken away. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a natural response because it's a lot. There's a lot going on. A general reading, please. Okay. Yay, Catherine! We're the only vegans. I'm always like, whenever I go out now on set, and then like, I'm always like, they always ask me, "Is like, do you have any dietary restriction?" I'm like, okay, I'm vegan. And then I'm like, there's another person who's vegan. I'm like, yes, there's two of us. Okay, 1 second. So 1 second. So I'm just giving Nikisha a reading. Yes, I'll give you a reading as well. Just give me 1 second. And they're like, here we go again. She's talking about fucking veganism. I will preach. My brother said that. He texted me. He's like, don't you think you're becoming a little preachy? And I'm like, yep. And I don't care. You can change the channel, bro. You can unfollow me. I don't need you to follow me on Instagram. Go away. But then I'm not going to see your shit. I'm like, that's your fucking problem. Don't care. All right. Yeah, if any of you follow me on Instagram, you know I do post quite often. I try not to be too annoying, but once in a while. Okay, so Nikisha, ground yourself, girl. Okay, when you detach from awareness of your body and a physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant not to float heavenward, I don't think that's a word. Your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance your spiritual and material so that you can enjoy fulfilled earthly life. So I think what I'm hearing here is that sometimes things kind of take you away, like you get distracted or some events happen, and this is actually the time that you need to ground yourself even more, to anchor yourself on your path, what you're meant to be doing, your goals. And it's normal to get distracted, but I feel like it takes you away for a while, and then it takes you a while to get back on track. I'm not quite sure what that is, but just be aware. But you do get relationship again. So relationship, your primary relationship is with yourself and God, and every other relationship follows there. So I do feel like what story of my life happening the past couple of days. Okay. But what I feel like with you, Nikisha, is that relationships take you away from your path. I think you get distracted a lot with people. I think because I feel like you love people, and I think you love relationships, and I think you're a bit of like, I think you like to have fun or whatever's going on there, and I think that can sometimes take you away from what you're meant to be doing, and you get distracted. So I love this card that is saying your primary relationships with yourself and God or the universe or whatever you believe in. So whenever that happens, just remind yourself that the number one relationship is with yourself, is with your story, it's with your path, it's with your alignment. Because if you can hold that, then anything else just basically comes second. And it doesn't mean it's beneath it, it just means it's second. And it helps you stay focused, and then you can have your cake and eat it too, right? But then sometimes that's why things just kind of get like a little bit messy, and then you go back to what you were doing before. Go for it. Your prayers and positive expectations have been heard and answered. We've been working with you on a situation since its genesis, and we continue to watch over you and everyone involved. Stay on your present path, as it takes you very far indeed. And I love this. I don't know why this kind of looks like you, I feel. Doesn't she look like you a little bit? I don't know why. I feel like that's literally you on a horse, on a unicorn. So I feel like though you are like, I constantly feel like you are building this thing. You are working towards something, like you're creating something very special. And I think you're also very spiritually supported. I think that you have a lot of like help spiritually. I know you love horses and unicorns. So again, it's almost like, think of it this way. Every time you allow somebody to distract you out of your path, it's like you're disrespecting your spiritual team, because they're like, man, we put all this fucking work in, and then another person shows up and you're like, there we go again. You know, so maybe think of it like it's not just you, and maybe it's a team of people working with you. And I think sometimes that helps with the motivation of staying on track. So just don't allow things to take you away. Just try it for once and see, because I think ultimately that comes down to the fear of abandonment, the fear of disconnection with somebody or something. So we drift away and we give all our time and attention to something else. But then it really, again, talking about fear and empowerment, right? It's a choice out of fear, because we're like, it feels like we're doing a choice out of love, but we're really doing it out of fear because we're fear of abandonment. Like that person or that situation is going to leave us. And so we got to give it all our attention and time. And so it really comes down to, like, if I really am worthy, and if this person is really worthy of me or situation again, they'll stay. And that's also a way to see if they really are going to stay, and they really like you for you, not because of the time and the attention that you give them and the love, which is beautiful. But again, you know what I mean? It's like for you, they're like intrigued by you and they want to stay with you. Again, energy, person, or situation. So grounding yourself essentially is the key, so it's like just remembering not to drift off, okay? Not to let it take you away. Just like, I got to stay here. And if you're worthy, you're going to come to me. You got to prove yourself to me. You got to stop trying to prove yourself to everybody else, okay? And again, that's a very powerful feminine goddess energy, okay? Because I hear there's a woman that I always like, Mia Magic, who talks a lot about this. It's like the priestess energy. Back in the day, women would choose the right suitor, right? And again, you can have fun, do your thing, don't really care. But the point is, it's like, we choose them, but they have to prove themselves, okay? And then you open yourself up to them, kind of thing. So sometimes we just, like, because of the damage, because of the traumas, because of the fears, we just choose anyone sometime. And we got to remember that there's something special about a woman, and there's something sacred about it. And when you start treating yourself that way, maybe not, but maybe you start attracting somebody who also respects you a little bit more and respects that about you. I feel like a lot of women want that deep down, but if you, and this is coming from somebody who used to do that all the time. Like, I look at some of my exes and I'm like, what was I thinking? And nothing wrong with the person, is not looking down, but they had no self-respect themselves, let alone would they respect me. And so you do things because we're desperate for love. We just want anyone to pick me, just love me, and whatever it is. And it just never works out, So the minute I get, like I always tell my stories, like the minute I was so happy with myself and I didn't care whether I was dating anyone or not. I think I was like not even dated anyone for like 2 years by that point. I was so like, whatever, don't care. Then my husband showed up, and again, he's incredible. He does piss me off a lot, but he's incredible at the same time, So still, the best thing that I've ever done is the best relationship I've ever had. So, yeah, so I feel like that's it. Nikisha, does that make sense? Ooh, Carla, it's been 5 years. That's a long time, girl. You needed that kick in the butt. You're welcome. Yeah. 9 years single, living it, love it. Single for 4 years. But guys, again, we got to remember, it's like when you start loving yourself and like all this sort of stuff, and it's okay if you're single too, guys. I mean, honestly, if I didn't meet my husband, I probably would still be single. I don't need, like, again, we need each other. I don't want to take away that, because we are relationship creatures. Like, we need each other, right? And loving yourself, again, you can have that love in relationships and other types of relationships. There's always other ways to have it. We are into relationship creatures. Like, we need humans. However, I would still rather be by myself than let just anybody in at this point. If I would be dating somebody now, I would give them a very long time before I would even get into bed with them. Like, there would just be so many things that I would do that I never did before, because I didn't have the self-worth and the self-esteem. And again, there's always that special story where you meet somebody and it's just a deep connection, you go there, but then sometimes you might regret it. So if the person's really right for you and they really love you, they'll wait, they'll be patient, they will, because they really want to be with you, not your body, not your money, not what you have. My husband and I, we just like each other's company, and I obviously use him for his money. No, I'm kidding. So yes, Nicola, what's your question? I use him for his millions of dollars. Actually, ironically, he's the year of the goat. And if you guys know anything about goats, they're gold diggers. So we always have the joke that he's been dating me for my money. He married me because of my inheritance that I will have later on. So I was always like, you're a gold digger. I was like, I chose bad. I'm a tiger. So I was like, oh, we're fighters. We're just like alpha. We're very alpha. But yeah, he's a gold digger. Yeah. So Nicola, what's your question? Do you have a question? She's a money to make you work for it. Dun-dun-dun. So in the meantime, guys, appreciate the time that you have with yourself and learn to build. I mean, I would take myself out on dates. I took myself out on dinners. I did things that I would normally like do with a partner, but I did it for myself. And I felt like also that's a way to manifest a partner as well. It's like you build that relationship with yourself. I do have that on my course, by the way, on manifesting lessons. There's a lot of singles, so I do recommend you guys, if you haven't already, try to do the course, Attract Your Soulmate. I'll pin it down below so you guys can check it out. All right, this guy I knew where yous live. We were best mates. Moved, divorced, and so is he and interested in me. Okay, I see what you mean. So you're just trying to see if this person's interested in you. And I mean, again, for a lot of people who are in relationships, some people miss the single life because maybe they lose themselves in partnership. You know what I mean? So okay. So a couple of things, my friend Nicola. So first and foremost, I think this card comes up with you a lot, but you got to just remove yourself from drama, girl. I feel like it just came up because I think you need to hear this message. The challenge you can resolve, withdraw from drama of others. Have patience with yourself and those around you. Okay. I always feel like there is a lot of chaos going on in your life sometimes. And so just sometimes step back. You don't always have to be involved. You don't always have to be in the chaos. Sometimes it's just nice to step back and let people do their thing. Okay. But yes, it is safe to trust the ability to accomplish many things at once. Follow your creative passion. But I also do see somebody like the man. I do think that there is emotions there. I do think that definitely something is interested. But dolphins often mean flirtiness. He's quite very supportive, but knows only want friends. But you only want to be friends with him. Because there's a flirty energy, but the dolphin often doesn't mean commitment. Often means, it often means just playfulness. So I do see that. So in my cards, whenever you get dolphins, they're often very flirty. Like they're just flirtatious type of people. He flirts, I take no notice. Well, maybe notice. If that's what you want, go for it. But there's emotions there from his side for sure. So whatever you're interested in. He's getting the message. Maureen, you have yes, if you have a question, feel free to ask. What, do you want to be in a relationship or not, Nicola? Do you want to whatever? Because if you're not interested, then it doesn't matter how he feels about you. Yeah, so that doesn't matter. It's nice to get the attention, but I mean, he's interested, obviously, but it doesn't matter. But that's the drama thing I think that came up. You see, you being involved and hoping, enjoying even just the attention, but not wanting anything. Can also cause a little bit of drama, you see. So you got to be careful with that, Nicola, because you get involved in a lot of drama. So whether he's interested or not shouldn't matter to you. What do you want, Okay, Maureen, your current mental health stuff. So let's see what comes up. come on. Oh gosh. Okay. So, very interesting, because I did get, so this card, let me just get one more, because I want the solution as well, but this makes sense. Of course, you got the ego. Okay, so I don't know if you saw the reading that I gave before, Maureen. Somebody as well had some mental stuff coming up as well. But there's similarities here. Let me see what else is going to come up. Just anything else? Yes, one more. Perfect. Okay, easy. Okay, so one of the things that came up, Maureen, is I don't know if you can see this, but this to me looks like a brain, okay? And then the brain has got all these like wires that are moving out, and then there's these little bubbles, right? So these, I see them kind of like neural pathways. So the bubbles to me are essentially neural pathways that you have formed, okay? So the way that the brain works, when you start studying the brain, it's like once we create a neural pathway, we cannot undo it. The only way that we can heal a neural pathway, essentially, an essential neural pathway is a habit, a belief system, something that's ingrained in you, right? That's become a part of your personality, is to override it with a new neural pathway. So what I'm hearing here is that the mental stuff that you're having, you're just very stuck in the same stories, in the same chatter, in the same wiring, and you've identified with those beliefs. So I always tell the story when I used to be depressed, right? I identified as a depressed person. So I'd behave, think, and act as a depressed person. I was depressed, but I also identified as it, and I didn't do anything to change that. So my thoughts in the morning were crap. My behaviors followed my crappiness. And then I built up addictions. And so it's just that cycle that you end up in, and you think that you're trapped in because you cannot see any other way out. So these are the neural pathways. So once I understood that, I realized that I had to override the old programming. I had to build a new ego, a new identity to get out of that mental problems that I had. I don't enjoy being alone. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, man, Gary, but that can also, that's a whole other thing. But having good people around you is amazing. So if you've got good people around you, that's awesome. That's also probably because you're a bit more of an extrovert. So here's an example of how this works, for instance. If I don't meditate every day, even after 3 days, my depression starts creeping in again. So I had to build new habits and behaviors to override those old programming. But you got to understand that I was depressed from, I think I started self-harming when I was like 6 or 7. Like I was really young, messed up. So you've been doing this for how long? 15, 10 years? 6 years, you've been talking shit about yourself. You've been telling yourself that life is not whatever. And so we think, oh, okay, I just need to take this pill or do this thing and it's gonna, no, it's like, yeah, 20 years, right? So it does take a level of commitment to a new identity in order for that to be overridden. But like I said, if I don't keep it up, what happens is I default back. And that's how the mind works, okay? That's what the neural pathways are. They're already embedded. You can only override it with a new behavior. So the ego came up, right? Which is the same card that the other girl got as well, which is very, very, very much to do with people with mental health. You've identified as somebody who's with mental health, which of course there is. I'm not trying to take that away. But if you want to heal, you have to build a new identity, okay? And what does that mean? That means I'm going to start behaving as somebody who need to go of, yes, Max. Exactly. Okay, so you've been working on changing that, on your thoughts. I love this. Okay, so if it's mental stuff, we got to change our mind. Okay, and it can be done because I'm an example of that, Maureen. I'm telling you, I don't suffer from depression anymore. I don't have any mental problems. I was diagnosed as like borderline personality at one point. Like I was going down the path of like getting locked up. So One of the things we got to do is, like you said, you got to change your thoughts. Okay, now this is not easy, but all it is, it's just daily practice and routine. That's all it is. It's rewiring the story, resetting a new program. So stop identifying as somebody with a mental illness. You have a mental illness, but that doesn't mean who you are. Very important, okay? Because you don't want to be in denial, so I don't have fucking problems. I'm like, yeah, you have problems. Okay. But what I'm saying is, like, I started identifying as somebody who can heal myself, because if I saw that person and that person and that person and that person do it, it's like, what is so special about them? But when you see yourself as mentally ill or have mental problems, you don't see yourself as that person. You see yourself as a very special, unique being that nobody else can be like. And that is just not the truth. We're all the same. We all have the same potential. We all have the same possibilities. So essentially, you're learning to reconnect with everybody else, because mental illness disconnects you from everything and everyone. You see yourself as separate. 1 second, I'm just clearing out here. Hey, mapacho! So beginning to shift that identity, Maureen, is so important, okay? And beginning to understand that you're not separate, okay? Because for me, if you can do it, then I can do it. I just got to figure out what you did and follow that blueprint. And it might not be the same exact blueprint, because everybody's got their unique puzzle pieces that build up the issues that you have or the gifts that you have. But I'm going to do anything in my power to figure it out. And like I said before, Maureen, to the person, it's like having a mental illness, having mental problems is hard, incredibly painful and hard. Being healed and figuring out a way to be happy and healed, especially when you're coming from a mental illness, it's extremely hard. Choose your hard. So you're either going to commit to your illness or you're going to commit to healing. At any given point, you're always committed to something. So every second of the day, choose to commit towards your healing. That means when you get up, I started doing meditations and I started doing affirmations every single day, and I still do this to this day. This is like my 20th book. Affirmations every single day. Okay? Every time I catch myself saying something negative, I clear, cancel, delete. I say something positive. I would do mirror work. I started listening to podcasts. I started reading books. The reason why I'm teaching is because everything that I'm teaching is everything I taught myself. End of story. So I went full force because I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be alive anymore. When you want to die, you might as well just create a new life in your life, as opposed to having to pass away and then come back again and have to redo it again. It just made no sense to me, because I believe in reincarnation. I figured if I killed myself, I was like, I'm gonna have to come back and do this again, probably have to start from where I left. So it doesn't make any sense for me to like check out and come back. So I was like, all right, from here, let me just start from a place of like, I have full freedom. And there's so much power when you want to out yourself, because you don't have to live by anything or anyone anymore. Because I was willing to check out. So why do I care about so-and-so's opinion, what my parents think, what so-and-so thinks? Why do I have to be and go this way? It's like, I don't want to be here. So let's have fun. Let's go crazy. Let's see how far I can go. And so I would just try anything and all things, because I was like, at this point, I've got nothing to lose, literally. And so it makes you actually kind of dangerous, because you are going to try things that most people don't have the balls to do. You are going to do things and take yourself as far as you need to go. And most people don't have the courage or the strength to do that. Pain can be a very, very powerful tool when used the right way. But you got to figure out how to do that. And that's the hard part. So I decided to commit to life. I decided to commit to healing. I went full force into it. Every single day, I would just listen to affirmations. Whenever I was walking, I would have an audiobook, or Louise Hay was one of my favorites at the beginning. And I hated affirmations. I hated them. I thought they were the dumbest thing ever. But at the same time, I was like, clearly the way I think isn't going to work. So I might as well just try this. Changed my life. I still do it to this day. Yeah, she's amazing. So I would play her every morning, and I had roommates who would judge me, because I was like in the background, I was like, I love myself. I am happy. I am this. And people would just like totally judge me, and I'm like, I don't care, man, because you have no idea what's going on in my head, and this is way better than what's going on in here. I started doing mirror work, like she said. I just started following the paths of people who had figured it out. right? My dear ones, yes. Okay, so let's just move on from this. So a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings, okay? So I think, Maureen, what's really happening right now is that you've hit that, almost that rock bottom, to the point where I'm like, you're like, I'm willing to do almost anything at this point. My advice to you is the commitment to it, regardless of whether you see a change or not, because it did take time. Rewiring your brain, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to hit your head and suddenly have an epiphany. I understood that when I committed to affirmations, I said I'm going to give it 1 year. 1 year is always my key for anything. If in 1 year nothing changes, I can go back and being miserable. I know that's going to work. And of course my life changed. So then I committed to it and I continued. The same way with my addiction when I was smoking. I was like, at some point I was like, all right, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to give it 1 year. Commitment to sobriety for 1 year. If nothing changes, I can always go back to smoking. Guess what happened? My life changed, so I never went back to smoking. You're welcome, Maureen. I feel like I can really hopefully inspire some of you guys with mental health stuff, because no one's going to save you with this one. This is the truth of the matter. You have to save yourself. And that's the part that sucks, because when you're mental health, it's like you're literally screaming for help. You don't know how to make decisions. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You need support and help from others. And oftentimes people run away from you because they're terrified, because you're mentally unstable and you're giving off an energy that is terrifying to them. And again, that's an identity, because that's a protection mechanism deep down. You are subconsciously repelling people on purpose because they make you feel unsafe, because possibly people in the past have hurt you. So it's your subconscious way of keeping people away. So it's a whole layer, it's a whole thing. But again, just do the healing work. That is your only commitment, and figure out every day, you got to figure out what the most important thing is. So in one day it could be your depression, another day it could be your anxiety, another day it could just be something else. So when you figure out the most important thing, just focus on one thing at a time. Baby steps. By the time you're going to look back in a year time, you're going to be like, holy shit, my life has definitely changed. It may not feel sometimes like a huge improvement, but when you look back, you're going to go like, it actually was an enormous improvement. Okay. Change and join IT. I have managed to get off all of my antidepressants. That's amazing, Nikisha. That's awesome. Yeah, I was self-medicating. I mean, I was prescribed when I was 12 antidepressants, and I didn't need them. And then when I was 14, because that's what my parents thought was the right thing, but I just refused to take them. And then I just started smoking weed. That was my way. That was my antidepressant. Again, the way I was abusing it, not exactly the best thing, but because then you build an addiction to it, and people say that you can't get addicted to weed. Yeah, you can. But yeah, so just keep going on that journey, keep doing the work. And this is a reaffirmation, but just remember, Maureen, the identity is very important. Okay, do not identify as somebody who's broken, damaged goods. There's nothing about me that can be fixed, because as long as you have that belief running, that's what it's going to be. So you got to start shifting your identity into somebody who has the ability to heal yourself. I have an inner healer. I have an inner therapist. I have an inner parent. I had to reparent myself. You know, and now I'm starting to have a little bit more compassion towards my parents, actually, because I realized they didn't have their own parents. So I'm like starting to see that a little bit more now, but I was pissed at them because I was like, you should have known better. They didn't fucking know better. But you know, I started protecting myself. And then of course that eventually showed up as my husband, as his family. But for a long time, I just had me. But then when I started putting those boundaries down and started doing the things that I needed from other people and keeping myself safe, truly safe, not like fear safe, but like empowered safe, things started really changing then. With enough practice, you can get addicted to anything. Yes, that's true. Yes, absolutely. I always have the joke that Snoop Dogg had a poster of me in his bedroom, because that was I had a lot of practice. Jumping off to meditate now. Good night all. Love you, Jack. Aw, thank you, Carla. Yeah, so we're gonna end it now, guys. So any more questions before we close out? And if not, that's totally fine. But I hope you're all having a good week and continue to have a good week. Thank you guys. Yes, and thank you for the donations, guys. So appreciated. Thank you for the love and energy and time. That's always loved and appreciated. You're so welcome, Pacho. I'll be back teaching classes this weekend. I'm actually teaching on Saturday and Sunday and Monday this week. So Saturday evening at 5, actually, I think, at the Mindry. But yes, I'm back. So guys, thank you so much for your love. Yay! I hope to see you guys there. For your love, for your time, for your attention, for all of it. I'm always so grateful. You always get me into a better mood by the end of the day. I've been feeling a little bit bleh lately, but that's okay. I'm teaching meditation. So I teach meditation classes live at the Mindry in Malibu. I teach classes actually to 2 or 3 different places. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. So people come and do my classes. And Mapacho and Kat come, and they have been so sweet. It's always good to see people from Inside Timer in real life. No, not there. But I do lives. That's the best way to put it. I used to do live meditations, but I don't know. I prefer them in person sometimes. But, you can check out my YouTube channel and any of the courses and stuff. There's always a ton of information. I started filming more. I'm building a new online course right now, teaching people how to make their own Oracle deck. So that's coming out. So working on other stuff, guys. But I'm always here, always teaching, and always take requests. So if you have any requests of any videos you would like me to teach or do, feel free to ask. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. I will see you guys soon. Sending you so much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, wait, Dita, do you have any advice on weight control? That's a good question. Okay, so Dita, I used to have a severe eating disorder for most of my life. So that was, so my weight always was a problem. Always very much yo-yoed, always had a hard time maintaining a good weight. I would either starve or put on too much weight. So it was always just like up and down. My advice with food is a few things. I mean, for me, I can only tell you what worked for me when I figured it out. So one of them, again, is my beliefs. So if you believe it's hard to lose weight, and again, it's like mental health stuff. If you believe it's difficult, then you separate yourself from others. And so it kind of locks you into behaviors and patterns that essentially are in resistance. And the other thing I was looking at is like skinny girls, women who don't, have a hard time like losing weight. I was like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? How do they think the way I don't think? So number one, they like their bodies. They respect their bodies. And yes, on the outside, your body might not look the way that you want it to look, but I always make sure to appreciate my body and love my body. And it makes it easier to lose weight for some reason, because you're working with your body and not against your body. Your body's not an enemy. It's there to support you. Of course, this does require like dieting and exercise, like let's be realistic, those two, but there's a lot more to it. There's all the emotional stuff on top of that. Weight is a buffer. Weight is a shield, right? One of the things that worked for me, this is not my advice to you, but for me, there were a lot of things that I was going against. Every time I ate, I felt guilty because I was eating meat and dairy. And the guilt creates a buffer. It creates a negative relationship with food for me. So I became vegan, and I obviously, by becoming vegan, I educated myself on food because I knew that I needed certain nutrients and vitamins in order to be able to maintain a vegan diet. So I actually started learning about food, as opposed to before I was just eating whatever and I didn't understand any of it. But the number one thing I will always say, it's your emotional state to your body. It's a relationship that you're building with yourself, with a part of you, and this is the body that you're given. Now, you might not, also being realistic of what your body can look like, because some people want to be like a freaking supermodel, but your body type is not meant for that. Your body type might be a Kardashian, which is curvy, but still you can have a gorgeous body. So being realistic about that, and then building a healthy relationship with that, because when there is resistance and fighting within you and fighting outside of you with food, that's just going to create extremes. So extreme dieting, you're going to listen to everybody else's opinion about like keto and this and no carbs and no this. It's like dumb. Just to me, it was just like balance, and being realistic for I mean, I'm very muscular. Like I work out a lot because I love it now. But, you know, I can also I can put on weight very easily if I let myself go. But I've maintained the maintenance, the dedication to myself and working out. And when I work out now, I mean, I had gym addiction at one point. So it's all the story. I almost destroyed myself. I work out a lot. So I work out 2 days and then I have a day break and then I have 2 days workout. So I give myself 1 day rest, and I work out for about an hour and a half, and I do heavy weights, and sometimes I do cardio. I used to box, and I do sometimes yoga, just depending on the day, what my body wants. And sometimes I listen to my body. Like today, it wanted to do a full body workout, so I did more like a different thing. But I've been working out for a very long time, and again, I took it too far, and I took it to the extremes. But again, it's that self-respect. I start to listen to my body now. But also listening to your body, sometimes people think it's like, oh, I'm going to give it ice cream and that's a self-loving thing. It's like, yes and no. I mean, healthy ice cream is fine. So try to replace those bad habits. I still eat chocolate. I still have everything that I want to eat, but I try to keep it within the healthier, more wholesome foods. Wholesome foods, by the way, are always the best way to go. Full vegetables, full fruit, all that sort of stuff. Again, I'm vegan. I'm not going to recommend meat and dairy. That's just me. But you do you, whatever you feel is called to you. That worked for me, and it changed my life, honestly. Yes. I'll eat you in a minute. Yeah. I'm not going to eat him. But at the end of the day, it always starts with the relationship with your body. So if you hate your body, if you're abusing your body, if you talk shit to your body, you can never build a good relationship with yourself. And so I remembered, like, when I started looking at other people who liked themselves and had a good body, they always had a good relationship with their body. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to figure it out. And one of the things, when I recovered from my eating disorder, I put on a lot of weight, because that's what happens when you've been throwing up all day and starving yourself to then like actually eating. It takes a while for your stomach to even feel full. You just never feel full. I made a decision to start loving my body regardless of whether I was fat or not, which is extremely difficult with somebody with anorexia and bulimia. But I understood that, again, guys, rewiring the brain. And then once I started building a safer relationship with my body, then I slowly started adjusting things. And eventually I figured it out. Then I started feeling full. And then I started learning about food. Learning about food will help you a lot. You know, it's like what vitamins, what's in, like, people don't know, but like, for instance, there is protein in broccoli and in rice. Like, who knew that? You know, there is like omega-3s in quinoa. You know, your body needs these omega-3s. There's like, I mean, I could go on and on about, like, kale is full of like iron and protein. So I always make sure that I have certain, you know, things, and then I take certain supplements just to make myself, you know, but again, it's that education, taking care of my body and loving my body. The most important thing is to learn to love your body. Yeah, I have days where I'm just like, but I'm like, you know, I just learn to love and appreciate my body. And then from there, you can build up from there. Because as long as you're fighting with yourself, you're always going to be in a battle with yourself, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual. You know, that battle creates conflict, creates issues, and then everything's a struggle. Yeah, so I mean, there's just things like that, you know, guys, like, do your research. I mean, I really recommend that you just educate, because when you're afraid of something, you don't want to know about it, right? So you just follow what anybody else tells you. Like, I did the no carbs and I ended up getting hypoglycemia, you know. So it's like, yeah, I had a 6-pack, but I also almost fainted every 2 minutes. So it's not worth it. You know, now I have carbs, I have everything. I try to have a little bit of everything. Again, I just don't eat animals. But for me, it works perfectly. It's the happiest I've ever been. But again, that might not be you. So you got to figure it out, what's right for you. They're running around, the pigs. I'm about to eat you. I'm kidding. I'm not going to eat you. Well, my husband, yeah, so that's an interesting question. So my husband was not vegan when we met. And it was a bit of an issue for me. I told him, I don't want you to feel like I'm pressuring you, but it's one of my morals as a person. Like, I just have a thing with, I understand why people do, because I used to eat meat myself, but I told him, I was like, as my husband, it's going to become an issue. And just being realistic about how I feel. I think a lot of people lie to themselves, and it's like, oh, it's fine. It's not fucking fine. He's supporting the very thing that I'm trying to stop. It's a bit of a problem. Also, when I met him, he had a ton of health issues, like a ton. So I told him, I was like, I don't want to force you to do this. You got to do it for yourself. But I'm just letting you know I have an issue with it. It was very loving. It was very gentle, Anyway, long story short, he slowly started becoming vegan. And now he's not 100% vegan. Like, he'll still occasionally, veer off the path. But for our house, it's 100% vegan. And honestly, even when we go out, he'll have maybe like eggs or dairy, but he hasn't had meat in a long time. But ironically, all of his health issues got resolved. Also, he ate like shit before, to be quite honest. Like, he ate really bad, like burgers and pizzas. He's like a 5-year-old. So now he just changed it to vegan burgers and pizzas and all that sort of stuff. But he's so much healthier because of it. I do. I like oat milk. I like soy milk, actually. I don't have a problem with soy, but I've heard things about soy not being great. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Nakisha. Yeah, and again, I mean, it's a sensitive topic because we all have to eat, and of course, being vegan, anyone's going to feel judged by me, I get it. But I'm not going to lie. So, what do you want me to do? Yeah, I love oat milk. Oat milk is the best. Plus, it's also easy to make by yourself at home. You just get oats, you blend them with water, put some like dates in there, and you strain it, and it's perfect. It's just perfect as it is. Anyway, but but food or not food, the first relationship is always with your body, with yourself, and that's the key. I mean, exactly. Jamie, absolutely. It's like educating yourself, because you got to remember, guys, that we're not educated on food. You're taught to eat anything and whatever, and so you don't understand what it does to your body. And if you don't exercise enough and all that sort of stuff, you put on weight or you lose weight. So it takes a while, but obviously do not starve yourself, because starving yourself, I'm the pro of that. You end up binging, and then you end up putting weight. When you deprive yourself of something, you're going to crave it even more. So I always say, like, give yourself, when I crave chocolate, I go and buy chocolate, obviously it's vegan chocolate, but I will go and get chocolate. What the hell, to change your vegan in 10 years. Yes. Vegan 10 years. Oh, amazing. I love that, Linda. Yeah, you guys are like the OGs. You were the ones who were literally eating like grass back in the day. There was no other option. I mean, we have it so easy now. It's like the Beyonds. I mean, I don't really eat that much, but I'm grateful for it because it tastes amazing. But I'm also like very much, I don't like cooking, and I don't like wasting time in the kitchen personally. I'm very much like doing things all the time. And so my priority isn't always on food. My priority is always on like, all right, I got to make a meal, just 1, 2, 3, put some veggies, put a little bit of protein in there, put a little bit of grains, done. I don't care about flavor so much. So, I try to have balance in my meals. And I find that keeps me full for the rest of the day. And I tend to have 2 meals a day, sometimes 3. But I like to have a late breakfast, and then I have an early dinner, and that's what I like. And again, people tell you have to have 6 meals a day. You have to have 3 meals a day. It's like, you've got to figure out what that is for your body. But when you build a relationship with your body, when you start listening to your body, you will know what it wants. Is it hungry? It needs food. But when you have an eating disorder, when you're recovering, you're always hungry. It's like, I could eat for like hours and like be this big and still like be like, I could keep eating. Like your sensor is gone. Well, it's good that you like cooking, Nicola. I hate cooking. I have no desire to cook. I don't enjoy it, and there's nothing about it, but I just keep it simple. For me, it's like nutrients, balance, done, Anyway, but if I want to get jacked, if I want to get ripped for a roll or something, that's a whole other story. Then I do, increase my protein, and I lower the carbs, and then I just get ripped. But again, I only had to do that like for 2 rolls in my life where I was playing a boxer. So yeah. All right, guys, so I'm going to go. But thank you so much again for the time and for the questions. I hope that helped. Of course, Dita, anytime. I hope you can find it, okay? So just remember the key to health, is just look at the women who love their bodies and learn from them. That's the way to do it. And just hear what they have to say. Not the women who starve themselves and who are skinny. That's not the way you want to go, because that's not going to last. You want to listen to the people who genuinely love themselves, because you're going to learn a lot from that. Yay! Love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. All right, so I'm going to go off, but as always, have a magical day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.